What up, you two? How you guys doing today? Today I got another great book for you. It's called The Memory Bible, an innovative strategy for keeping your brain young by Gary Small, MD, and he's the director of the UCLA Center for Aging. So, smart guy, good book. I recommend you check it out. There are plenty of brain exercises that you can do in this book, and they're very fun to do, very interesting. But yeah, let's get into the book. So first we'll get into the core concept, then talk about the theory, and finally I'll give you 3 action steps that you can take to apply this book to your life. Alright, let's get started. The Memory Bible. The core concept of the Memory Bible, it's very simple. Memory training equals a younger brain. A younger brain, that's what we all want, right? We want to reverse the aging process. While we can't stop our brain from getting older, we can make it younger in terms of activity and processing speed and memory capability, right? Because of the science of neuroplasticity and neurogenesis, we have found that our brain can regenerate itself to incredible proportions and incredible extents. So, that's the core concept. Memory training causes a younger brain. So what is memory training? We'll get into that in a second. But first, let's get into the theory. So, plaque and tangles, right? It sounds terrible, but we actually have amyloid plaques accumulating in our brain from the age of 20 onwards, right? Especially in our 30s. That's when the amyloid plaques start. Very little ones, not too much, not enough to cause Alzheimer's. And then we also have tangles, neurofibrillary tangles in our brain, right? So tangled up neurons, plaque, it's not good. And it's accumulative over time. The author says that if we all live to the age of 110, the chances of us getting Alzheimer's is 100%. So by 110, you're probably going to have Alzheimer's. That's the tendency, at least, right? The probabilities. But there are ways to mitigate the effects of Alzheimer's and dementia. So that's what we'll go into. First theory, we'll talk about the nun study. So they took a bunch of nuns, right? And nuns have a similar environment. So you can normally look at their lives and then look at their lives years down the road and then say with some certainty that it's not a difference in lifestyle that causes their differences, because they're all nuns, right? They eat the same thing, they live in the same place in the monastery or the nunnery, I don't know what they call it, but anyway. So they looked at this group of nuns at the age of 20, and they looked at their writings, right? Like what they wrote. And they found that the nuns with greater grammar complexity in their sentences and greater idea density in their sentences were more likely to have a healthy brain going into the future. Therefore, they were less likely to have Alzheimer's. So that's a fascinating topic, right? It's terrible to say, but the dumb nuns ended up getting Alzheimer's. So why is this, right? The smart nuns tended not to get Alzheimer's. Why is this? There are many possible reasons for this. One is perhaps the nuns that were smarter use their brains more and more frequently, and they train their memories more longer into the future. There have been studies that have shown that individuals with mentally demanding occupations are less likely to have mental health issues in their old age. So that's another thing. And then they did the rat study, right? What they did was they took a bunch of rats, put one group in rat Disneyland, right? They had rat buddies, they had, running wheels, they had toys. It was a cool place to be. And they took another group of rats and put them in a bare, depressing cage. What they found was the rats that were in rat Disneyland were more likely to have larger neurons. They were more effective at learning their mazes, like those mazes, that scientists make them run through. And they found that they had bigger brains, more dense neuronal connections because of their enriched environment. So I talk about that in another video of mine, so I won't get too much into it. If you're interested, check out the rat study in another video of mine called Spark. So next is the education effect. what they found was individuals who graduated from college were much less likely to develop Alzheimer's. So, of course, it's a probability, it's not a certainty, but they found that individuals with a college degree were more likely to be healthy. They slept right, they ate better, they had higher incomes, so they could, you know, engage in activities that were mentally demanding, and their occupations demanded that level of mental focus. So, yeah, the education effect, right? So it's terrible to say, but individuals with that educational advantage are less likely to get Alzheimer's. So those are the 3 studies. That's the theory I want to talk about. Next, we'll get into 3 action steps that you can take to improve your memory, whether you have a good education or not. It's not all about having a good education. Really, it's about training your brain, right? Individuals with more education are more likely to train their brains. So first step, practice recall. Practice active recall. So, you know, remind yourself, right? Like, what did I do yesterday? Or what did I do day before yesterday? What did I do last month? Actively try to remember. Well, okay, so here's a test for you. What did you eat yesterday? If you can remember that, what you ate yesterday, you're in good shape. But if you're having trouble remembering it, you might want to get on this brain exercise thing because you need it. I'm just kidding. You might need it. I don't know. Just, you know, some people just don't pay attention to what they're eating. So there's that. And number 2, an action step that you can take is watch Jeopardy, right? Watch those shows that make you recall information that's locked away in your long-term memory, right? I'm not good at Jeopardy, but I love doing it because I know my brain is getting stronger every time I make a connection with something I know. Every time I'm, you know, digging, you know, the more you dig through your long-term memory, the better you get at digging, right? So definitely watch some Jeopardy. And the third point that I'd like to talk about is diet and exercise. So I'm not really going to talk about this too much. A healthy diet and lots of exercise is obviously good for the brain. There are other videos that have discussed this. Another video of mine called The Better Brain Solution talks about diet and exercise. Another video called Spark, that's on the effects of exercise on the brain. And then I got another video, I don't remember it right now. Healthy Brain, Happy Life by Wendy Suzuki. And I've got some other ones too. So I'm really big on brain health. So yep, that's the basics for today. Memory training equals a younger brain. Plaque and tangles, the nun study, the rat study, the education effect, and you got 3 action steps that you can take to apply this to your life. All right, have a good one, guys.